Hey there YouTube fam, this is Mwana Kwitu, Ngoli Mose, Kandamakola, yes, also known as the Proud Misfit in some circles, the King of Myland, and I'm coming at you with another video. And in this video I'm going to be discussing my drum story, how I got into drumming, what interests me, or rather what inspired me to get started on this journey of mine, and all that good stuff. What keeps me motivated, and many other things. So stay tuned and let's dive into this. Oh, and before I get started, I just want to mention that I am going to be talking about something that I would like to say I'm passionate about, or I'm enthusiastic about. So my apologies if I ramble on. I envisage that this video is going to go on. It's going to stretch on and on. And so if it turns into a rant or just a ramble, I apologize in advance, but bear with me as I'm talking about something that I love to do, even though I'm not the best, but it's fun for me. That's all that counts. So I just want to get that out of the way even before I get started. So if you're not into long form videos, I press the next button, wherever that is. So let's dive in. Drumming. Okay, a little bit of background. I only started drumming, taking it seriously, not serious in the sense of being a professional, but actually getting started with the whole drumming scene. I only started drumming a few months ago, and I haven't even reached my 6-month mark yet, so still pretty much new to this. And what I will say is that, okay, I had always been interested in drumming in a way, if I might say. From my childhood, it started by me being drawn to rock music, or pretty much music that had acoustic drums in it, and I was drawn to that sort of music, even though I never had collections of it. But whenever I heard a tune that incorporated such sort of drumming, I was immediately drawn to it. And then later on, when I went into high school, that's when I started to listen exclusively to rock. Because previously I would listen to all these genres of music, but when I got into high school, like the later stages, 11th grade, 12th grade, I listened to rock mostly. 90% of it rock, yeah, with the other percentage being made up of hip hop, pop, and other music genres. So that was that, and I always imagined, what it would be like to maybe play the drums one day. You listen to a song where the drumming is just phenomenal, and you wonder, what if I could play something like that? Maybe in the future when I get my own money, I have stable income, I might get myself a drum kit. And learn to play the drums, learn to do that. So I always put it off. I always put it as a future project, something that I would accomplish in not the near future, but the distant future, so to say. My first time being on drum kits, it would have to be this one time. Okay, for some of us, like in the town that I lived in, small town, if you wanted to see a real live drum kit, you had to either go to a concert or go to a church. There you are going to find an ensemble of musical instruments to cater to your taste and all that. So my first time being on a drum kit was this one time when I think I was pretty young at the time. I was maybe 8, 9, 10 or thereabout. I don't remember the specific age, but I was pretty young. So a couple of friends and I were called to the front to play out a drum group. A drum group in front of the whole congregation. It was very nice. It was interesting, just that thrill of being in front of people and being able to play out something. Maybe I haven't described that accurately. So there was like the drummer that used to groove in the church, and so he laid out a simple beat, and then the rest of us had to replicate that in front of the audience. That was it. The guy was actually a friend of mine, I would say. Yeah. Taught me one or two grooves, but other than that, I never really took it up seriously, to the point of, say, starting to practice more, or getting further lessons. Other than that, I never did any of that, and that's how I just pushed all that drumming stuff to the background. And so I just kept on like that, listen to music and think, it would be nice to be a drummer one day. It would be nice to play out some of these grooves. And so that's how I just kept on pushing it forward, until one time in 2017, I believe it was 2017. So a colleague of mine, me and a colleague of mine went to the arcade. First we were just roaming around, exploring the town, and we ended up getting into the arcade. And when we got there, there were all these various sorts of games that you could play, to pass the time, and whatever you want to call that. And so my attention was immediately drawn to this drum kit. Okay, it wasn't really a real drum kit, but it was a drum set where you could play the game Drum Mania from. Many of you must be familiar with that, especially you drummers out there. And so I purchased a few tokens and I decided to give it a go. I didn't know what to expect, I didn't know what was going to happen, but that's what I decided to do. And prior to that, I didn't have any drumming knowledge left. I couldn't even lay down a basic beat melody. I couldn't do that. And so I sat on the kit and started trying my best to play the various songs that were on there, and I just had so much fun. It was exhilarating, it was exciting, it was just a thrilling experience altogether, and I don't think I've ever felt that way. No, I've not felt that way about drums or anything for that day. So that day was really special for me because it was the inflection point. I just had so much fun, trying to play these various songs with my non-existent drum skills. I just had so much fun that I didn't realize that 3 hours had gone by, and I was just grooving, having fun and all that. 3 hours had gone by like that, and it just blew my mind. How is it that I was almost like sucked into this vortex of drumming, and I was just having fun, and we pretty much shut the whole world out, and that was just amazing for me. And that was the inflection point for me, like I stated earlier. So when I went back home, I kept on reflecting on what had just happened early on. Thought about how much fun I had had, and what was the next step for me to take. Because prior to that moment, I can say the drums had always been beckoning me, summoning me, not really summoning because I'm the king and I can't be summoned by drums, but beckoning to me rather, for me to take them up seriously. Because I always kept on pushing it forward and procrastinating. But that night I gave it really good thought, and I said to myself, hey, I know I'm not. I know I'm not. I know I'm not at the ideal time, for starting drums, because sometimes with the advent of social media, you go on YouTube or whatever social platform it is, and you see these wonder kids, 7 years old, 5 years old, and they're playing these amazing chops on the drumsticks. They're just going like, I don't know, like they were drummers on cocaine or something. They're so good. And the guy is 5 years old. He can barely even sit properly on the drumsticks, and his foot can barely, can hardly reach the bass pedal, but he's playing extremely good stuff. His playing is years ahead of his age, and so you look at such kids, and then you look at yourself. I'm already old. I'm like in my 20s. Is there even time for me to start? Start learning all this, starting from the ground up and trying to build something. Is there time for me, or I'm thinking maybe I can just wait for the future to come along. Maybe by then I'll have quite a bit of money, and I'll hire someone to teach me the ropes, if you may. But that day I gave all that a good amount of thought, and what I decided was that it didn't matter that I'd missed out on all these years, when I could have perfected my drumming. But what mattered was what I did in the present, in the now. So I didn't care that I wouldn't care that I was never going to be the best drummer out there. I didn't care that I had missed out on so many years, but all that mattered to me was that I was going to start. It doesn't matter where I start from. All that matters is that I start. So I saved up some money, and in a couple of months I bought my first drum kit. Not the best drum kit, in the world, but it does its job. I mean, I'm not a performer in the top stages of the world for me to have a $10,000 drum kit and all that. Nah, that's not important. I still remember, so I purchased that drum kit online, and I had to wait something like 3 or 4 days for the drum kit to arrive, and that was almost, I would say, some of the longest 3 days of my life. I kept on checking the app to see the progress of the shipment, whether it was nearby or where it had arrived, and it was just a long wait. So finally, drum kit came. I remember when I received the phone call, or was it a message telling me that the kit had arrived. I was so psyched, so stoked. And I even took pictures of that day. It was just amazing, man. So I brought the kit home. I didn't know a thing. I didn't know how I was going to set it up. So I fired up some searches on YouTube, how to install a drum kit, how to set up, how to tune for beginners, and that is what I did. And now the coup de grace. How was I even going to start learning about the drums? Who was going to teach me, since I didn't say I have so much funds that I could hire a drum teacher, or maybe over the internet or whatever platform, to come and teach me the drums. And also looking at the fact that I would have to fit it into my schedule, school, career, and all those other things. So I would have to slot it in somehow. And so I did multiple searches on search engines, and I landed upon this drum pack, or drum tutorial collection of drum tutorials by Drumeo, taught by that guy Cobus. The Cobus method. And what really attracted me to that one was the fact that I wasn't going to bother myself learning how to read sheet music, because that can be a major discouragement to anyone that is, say, looking to get into drumming craft. It can be a discouragement, where they look at let's say there's sites where you're going to be misinformed that you need to learn how to read sheet music, and it's not all that necessary. You don't need to learn how to read sheet music to play the drums. And what attracted me to that course was the fact that all I needed to do was, if I had an ear, that was the basic requirement that you needed. It was figuring out how to play the drums by ear, you know. So in that course, of course, there was there was a band there. There was a breakdown of videos, you know, how to get started, setting up the kit, and playing your first groove. I still remember the first groove that I played. If I'm smiling more than usual, you have to bear with me, because like I said in the beginning, this is something that I'm passionate about it. It's a hobby for me, you know, something that I do in my free time, you know, and it just brings me so much joy, so much happiness, you know. Going back to the time that I went to the arcade and I was drumming on that machine for 3 hours, it just blocks out everything, you know. It's stress relief, even though I don't feel stressed, but I would call it stress relief, you know. Blowing off steam, all that. Like I derive all that from drumming. I don't go on the drums, like I'd be so upset about something, but I'll just go on the drums and, you know, groove to a couple songs that I like, and it's just all that negativity is just gone away. So that is how I approach drumming, and that is why I would say that I am passionate about it, and that is why you see me smiling more than usual in this video, because I am discussing something that is it's close to my heart. I would say, yeah. Where was I? I have to stop getting distracted. Yeah, I was talking about the Cobras method. So I learned my first groove, but my coordination was it was horrible. I couldn't get myself to sound like Cobras did. Played that groove, rather demonstrated how to play that groove. And I remember trying to play really softly, so that nobody else could hear that I was drumming or that I had a kit. And I was like that for a lot of months. I would say I wasn't really confident in my drumming, confident enough that I could just bash on the kits, you know, stab the toms, stab the snares, and bang the crash. I wasn't confident enough to do that. And if you look at some of my my first drum covers, my first set of drum covers, you will notice that I'm playing the drums very, very feebly, such that if you are judging this, if you are going to look at my emotion by itself and compare it to, say, the sound that is being produced, you're going to ask yourself whether I'm the one who was playing or not. But okay, by how terrible it sounds, you're going to know that I'm the one who was playing. But the thing is, I was hitting the drums like a cyclone, invalid. But that's the thing. Even when I was filming those first drum covers, I was not shy, because I don't feel shame. Sorry, like I would say in my native language, Stumbuka. I will like sorry, I don't have shame or shyness, whatever you call it. What is it for? Nothing. But I wasn't just confident in drumming, you know. I didn't want the neighbors, the apartment, to hear that I was drumming, because I think it's one thing to disturb people with, you know, good quality noise, and it's another thing to disturb people with awful, you know, eardrum busting noise. That's another thing, and I will be covering that later on in the video. So that was that. I was playing really feebly. I wasn't confident in my drumming at all. But with time, confidence comes, and not just with time, with also some skills that you acquire. The more skills you acquire, the more confident you are in yourself. will play, and you will be able to show that to the rest of the world. If you're confident within you, will exude that confidence to the rest of the world. Allow that. And around the course of those months, these past few months, I've been, YouTube has been one of my biggest helps in my drumming. And that's one thing that I'm so thankful for about the internet. You know, traditionally you'd have to find someone to teach you, but with the internet, all someone needs to do is place that resource on the internet, and you can access it from wherever you are in the world. Let's check my battery. 9%. Oh god, is not charging. Okay, hopefully it's not going to cut out on me. I've been going on for 20 minutes. Hopefully it still have some juice in there. Hang on. Yeah. So go on YouTube, make searches about various techniques and all that. And it's what my biggest help. But the thing with the online community is that as an individual you have to be able to filter out information. Quite alright, there's a lot of information there, but a lot of it is garbage, and filtering out through that garbage to find really useful tips and tricks. That is something that you have to do on a regular basis. But the internet has helped me a lot. There will be times when I would spend hours tuning my kids, trying to get it to sound the way it did on a certain song that I heard. And no matter how much I would tune, it just wouldn't sound the way I wanted it to. Just wouldn't. And that's one thing that you have to understand, especially for beginners. As a beginner, you have to be content, be comfortable with the sound of your kit. If you bought a budget kit, you won't expect it to sound like a $1 million kit or a $10,000 kit. It's not going to sound that way. But you have to find a way to get the best out of your kit. For many months, I didn't like the sound of my snare or even my hi-hat, the tones. I didn't like the way they sounded. But with time and with the internet, you sometimes you might don't even know when we are going to come across that useful tip and trick that is going to help you get the best out of your kit. For the hi-hat, didn't really do anything, but I found that for the hi-hat, what was making me to hate the sound of it was the fact that my right hand and my right foot, they were like conjoined twins. One wanted to do what the other was doing. If I played twice on my right foot, my right hand wanted to do the same. If I played once on my right foot wanted to do the same. I just couldn't break that bond that they had. And that's something that you're going to struggle a lot with as a beginner. And you find that because of that, some of the songs that you will play won't sound the way that they should because of that factor, So I found that it wasn't really even a complicated exercise that I implemented So I went on YouTube, and it was bothering me, like how can I break this interdependence that these parts of my body have. And so that is how I came across that. From a research on YouTube, I found some really helpful videos. One in particular that helped me, those 2 exercises that were linked in that video. Rather talked about in that video. I didn't even have to use those exercises for, let's say, a long amount of time. No, I only did it for like a week, and immediately I started to notice that that bond between the two started to break apart. And once I did that, I just noticed that my hi-hat sounded way better than it used to previously. And then for the snare, I just decided to be content, with the sound I was producing. It's not going to sound like it does on records, because those guys go to the record companies, where there's thousands of dollars that are involved in the production process. So obviously, the end product has to be of good quality. That is why we are able to get them to sound that way, and welcomed by sound engineers. And I just decided to be content with what I had. And for my toms, I figured out, I came across this trick where you take out the resonant head. So meaning that at the bottom it will just be bare. There won't be anything there. So air will be going in, and only the top will be covered. And then you tune according to your desired specification, and that's worked for me. I mean, when I do my drum covers, I don't use any microphones or anything of that sort, and they still sound alright, still sound decent. So that is that. You learn, that's the beauty of it. You're not expected to know everything as you're getting into this journey. A lot of things you're going to figure out as you go along. But all that matters is that you start. If you start, that's the biggest steps that you ever take. The other steps that you have to take, small. There's a proverb that speaks about the same in my language. It goes, ulendo utali kwamba na mtangalalo lume. Long journey starts with one step. And there's another one that says, mbuzi kuria hapo waimanzilia. A goat eats wherever that it is tied. If you tie a goat to a tree, the goat is not going to wait for you to tie it close to some place where there's green grass, or anywhere else where it can find pastures to graze on. It is not going to wait for that. It is going to eat wherever you have tied it. Because if it waits for it to be moved to an adequate place in order to eat, it is going to starve. It is going to die of hunger. So along the same lines of getting started or your drumming journey, don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment never comes. I have to watch my battery. The perfect moment never comes. And you just have to make the best out of the present. Eat, in quotation marks, wherever that you are tied, because the perfect moment will never come. Yeah. So, over the last couple of months, it's been a journey. It's been a roller coaster ride. There have been times when you question yourself, ask yourself whether you're really progressing. Am I making progress? Am I just stuck at the same spot? Am I going forward, or I'm maybe even retrogressing, just going backward? That is where the thing of recording yourself play comes into the perspective. You have to make recordings of yourself when you're playing. If I make a recording of myself playing today, whether it be video or audio, and then let's say 2 or 3 weeks later, in between that time of practicing or implementing 1 or 2 things, and I may also make a recording of myself 2 weeks later. When I compare myself to the state that I was in 2 weeks before, I may see that there is some improvement there. So that is the importance of recording your progress as you go along. And also for practice, I don't know, I haven't really written down any bullet points, or I don't have any paper that I'm reading off of. All of this is just coming off the top of my head. That's why you find that I'm not mentioning these points in any particular order. So as I receive them, you receive them as well. Yes, as I was saying, it's also a good idea to write out goals, to be goal oriented. If you are driven by the goals that you want to achieve, you find that you achieve them much faster than just having ambiguous goals. I want to improve my drumming, I want to be a better all-round drummer. It sounds good, but in what way, how in particular are you going to improve that drumming? Is it by maybe improving the speed around the drums? Is it by improving the coordination? Is it by working on your doubles? And all that stuff. So you have to lay all that down. You have to specify all that. You have to write down to yourself. You're writing that down for yourself and not for other people. So that's that. You have to keep your goals right before you, right in front of your eyes, because that's going to keep you very driven. So memorize that, write down the goals that you want to achieve, and also map out a plan to achieve those said goals. And that will help you to see success much faster. And now I'm going to talk about drum covers, or can I call it just listening to music that has drumming in it and then playing along to what you're listening. That is what I'll call it. That is a very good technique it's a very good way of learning some aspects. I can't find my words right now. Of learning certain aspects of playing the drum. There's not everything that you're going to find in the textbook or in a drum tutorial. Some things you might come across in a song. So you listen to something, and that's the beauty of it. The more you listen to music that has drumming, the more your ears get accustomed or customized to be able to pick up the drumming of songs, to pay attention and hone in on those signals that are coming your way. So when you listen to drum music that has drumming in it, it's a good way of implementing what you're learning. Okay, I'll pause this right here. My battery is about to die, so I'll charge it up a bit and pick up from this point. And we're back. So before I carry on, I want to clarify a statement that I made at the beginning of the previous video. I said I had been drumming for less than 6 months. Now that is not true. I bought my drum kit somewhere in March 2017. So I guess about now I could say that I've been drumming for over a year, give or take. No, for about a year, give or take. Yes, so I just wanted to get that out of the way. Now that I think of it, it's been a long time. Anyway, I was talking about how you can use songs that have drumming in them to implement certain techniques that you've been working on, say on the drums, and also as a medium through which you can learn other techniques that you can bring into your own practice sessions and playing sessions. So that's that. And the beauty about that is the more you use your ears, the more your ears get trained. And the moment you hear music, you just got drumming on it, your ears immediately latch onto the drumming that's in that song. It happens automatically once you train your ears. It just happens automatically. You don't have to forcefully do it, it just happens. And if there's no drumming in the track that you're listening to, your mind is thinking of ways or what drum techniques you could implement on that groove. You could play with that groove that is being laid down. So that is the beauty of using your music to further your drumming. Yes, listening to music rather, that is. But the downside is you get so used to playing with music in your ear. And for me, when I record my drum covers, that is how I do it. Like the song is playing in my ear, and in my ear, or rather, which is like an extension of I'm playing I'm playing the song on my phone, and it's in my ears, and then I'm able to play it on the kids. Take out the song, if like the song's not playing in my ears, I struggle to play. It's got to the point where I don't know. I'm just used to being immersed in the music. It's not like hearing the song is going to stop me from being able to play it on the kit. Now that's not what happens. But when you take away the music, it's a little bit hard to play the same song. Unless you know it by heart. But for the purpose of filming, like maybe drum covers, like I always need to hear the song in my ear to drown out the sound of the drums first of all, and then also because I'm used to doing things in that way. Okay, moving on. And also along the same subjects of making, say, drum covers or just playing along to certain songs that have drums in them. Sometimes when something is too fast to figure out, I mentioned this in one of my previous videos, something is too fast to figure out at normal speed, a good technique is to slow down the music. Nowadays there's tons of software available for that. On the PC you can use VLC Media Player and a whole host of other applications that do that. On Android there's also so many applications. I personally use Music Speed Changer, not because it's the best application out there, but I just use it. So slow down the tempo of the music to a tempo where it's slow enough that you can start to hear the individual parts that make up that group that you're trying to figure out. Imagine there's this really fast fill that goes that's at normal speed, and if you're trying to figure out how you can replicate that, that is no good, it's no help to you. But when you slow it down, you might hear that it's it sounds silly doing that, but you get used to doing that. I do that a lot as a drummer. It sounds silly to somebody else, but it helps me. It helps me to figure out songs like that. So slowing down the tempo to a point where I can actually hear what is being played. And in some cases, it's not always going to be sometimes you're not going to be able to figure it out 100%, but you at least have to come close. In such cases, you make it up, make something up. When you're doing drum covers, you don't always have to play it exactly the way that the original drummer played. I do that. I do it on some songs, but on other songs, sometimes maybe you find that what the original drummer played is too complex or too complicated for the skill level that you have at the present, and so you might make up something to replace that complex part. So that's one thing you have to keep in mind. There's no drum police that is going to come and arrest you because you didn't play exactly the way that it is in the song. It's not like that. You, like I said earlier, make stuff up as you go. There's no rule book. You're just making stuff up as you go and figuring stuff out. So that's it. And also, Lord have mercy. This is a conspiracy, y'all. It's a conspiracy. My chair is just giving up. Okay, what was I about to say before I was rudely interrupted? Yes, Well, also when you're learning various techniques or how to do something on the drums, it's a good idea to find a song or music that implements that particular thing. Or if it's a pattern, sometimes you might not even know what to call it, but just the fact that you can hear it, you hear a certain thing, and then sometimes if you've heard it in a song, your mind will immediately go back to that song. Like you say to yourself, haven't I heard this before somewhere? And by playing that song that implements what you're trying to learn, it cements the thing that you're trying to learn. What next? Now I'm going to talk about comparison in the drumming world. That is something that besets a lot of beginner drummers, and not just beginners, but even find advanced drummers, intermediate drummers. Sometimes they get stuck in the tendency of comparing themselves to others, and they focus on they get so caught up in that they lose focus of what's really important. You should compare personally, I don't like to compare myself to any other drummer. I only compare myself to myself. I compare the way I'm playing right now to the way that I was playing when I first started out, to the way that I was playing 6 months ago. That is the comparison that I will. When I listen to other drummers or watch other drummers, I'm not going to be there. Okay, I will appreciate the skill that I see. When I see someone who's really skillful, I will appreciate that. And this guy is playing really good. And instead of focusing on how awful you sound maybe, or how that you've been playing for such a long time but you don't seem to be making any improvement, instead of focusing on those negatives, I think it's better to focus on what's good thing you can take from the excellent drummer that you've just seen. I earlier talked of all these 5-year-old, 6-year-old drummers, and as if sometimes the parents or guardians of these drummers, I don't know whether it's a ploy to taunt people. When they put up their drum covers on YouTube, at the end they're going to add, at the end of the description, they'll add 5-year-old drummer, 6-year-old drummer. And if you're seeing such a thing with the wrong attitude, it can even discourage you, depress you, if you are in that style. You look at how you as a 20-something-year-old or 30-something-year-old or however old you are, you look at how you're playing, and then look at how a 5-year-old has outclassed you, outpaced you, and run circles, really much shot all over your drumming. And looking at such a thing, how if you look at such a thing with the wrong attitude, how are you ever going to get the courage to pick up the sticks again? And that is where some people miss the point. Some people even get discouraged to the point that they just quit drumming altogether, and that is wrong. Do not compare yourself to another person. I was about to call. Do not compare yourself to another person. Appreciate the talent that you see in others, and ask yourself, how can I incorporate this how can I bring this good thing that I have seen into my own drumming? When you see someone play complicatedly fast, don't I'll never be like this, I'll never be this fast. Think, how can I play the way that this one is playing? How can I bring that into my own drumming? That is the sort of attitude that you should have in this drumming. And it's not just applicable to drumming, it's applicable to other areas of life as well. You should have a good attitude. Like, everything depends on your perspective, the way that you decide to see things. If you decide to focus on the negative is what you will get out of it. If you decide to focus on the positive, you will draw positives out of that. So don't get stuck in the rut of comparing yourself negatively to others, because no good ever comes out of that, and more often than not you just end up discouraging yourself, depressing yourself, and doing detriment to yourself. this chair. I think I'm just going to hold the camera now. Just gonna hold it because I don't trust this chair anymore. So as I was saying, you should not compare yourself to others negatively, but rather pick out positives from whoever it is that you are watching, seeing play. What else? You should also be able to offer yourself constructive criticism. You can't always rely on, especially non-drummers, to tell you when you're not doing something right or you're not playing something correctly in a certain or in the way that is supposed to be played. See, and that is why sometimes, at the same time, you should, I've lost my words or my train of thought. You should be your biggest fan, but at the same time, you should also be your harshest critic when you need to be. You should criticize yourself when you need to be. You can put up a front for other people, but never put up a front for yourself. Never lie to yourself, never pretend. If you are not playing something correctly, you should admit that and ask yourself, how can I improve on this thing? That is why it's a good idea, like I mentioned before, to make recordings of yourself playing. Because sometimes when you're listening to music in your ears and then you're playing the drums at the same time, you might think you sound as awesome or as rad as the drummer who recorded the song. Meanwhile, in actual sense, you sound really terrible. Probably someone's hearing, or is it hearing, just gave up, because of hearing how you are playing. And it is a good thing to make recordings of yourself when you. Now I'm just repeating myself. Record yourself when you play, and then go over that, analyze it. Be honest with yourself. Am I playing well? Am I playing the way that I'm supposed to be playing? What is it that I can improve on? And that is what I do several times. With my hand inside. And you have to do that. That is what I do several times when I'm, say, filming a drum cover and I know that. I will make recordings of myself playing and then go over those recordings, listen to it carefully through the earphones and through the speaker, connect an external speaker and listen to how I sound. And pick out certain aspects. I'll say to myself, okay, here maybe I'm lacking on the snare, or I'm lagging in this aspect, or I should add this, I should subtract this, from the drumming to make it up to standard. Is there anything else that I haven't covered? I think I've said pretty much. I've said a lot. And in closing, I just want to say, like I said before, I made reference to a proverb. Mbuzi kurya hapo vaimangilira. A goat eats wherever it is tied. So if there's anyone out there who's thinking of getting started on this journey, always remember, the perfect moment does not exist. There's no such thing as a perfect moment. So if you're waiting for the perfect moment to come before you execute something, that time will never come. You just keep on pushing it forward until finally you have no time and you die. So just seize the moment. Make the best of your present circumstances. It doesn't matter, where you start from. It doesn't matter how you start from, or rather how you start. What matters is that you just get started. You figure out the rest as you go along that journey. It's a journey. That's the beauty of it. When you get started on, if you're, let's say you're taking a long drive to a city that's far from where you are, when you get started, you don't know what you're going to meet on the road. You don't know whether you're going to find the police, or you're going to find cars involved in an accident and all that stuff. all you can account for is that you've started your journey. Whatever is going to come on the way, it will come, and you'll find ways of dealing with it and figuring it out. So that's that. Don't wait for the perfect moment, just get started. And it's always a good idea to, you should find certain things in your drumming that will keep you motivated or encouraged, keep you moving forward. That's why for me, I always like to use certain songs. Like, let's say at the beginning of my drumming, there was a song that I would have loved to play, but didn't quite have the skill to play it. Several months later, when I go back to that song and find that I'm able to play it, it makes me happy. It's a win, a victory. The fact that here's something that I wasn't able to do some months ago, and now I'm able to do it. It means that I'm making progress. I may not be making progress according to some other person. Some other person who hears me maybe practicing will say, this guy is terrible. But I know for myself. I know where I've come from. I'm the one who's taking this journey. So I know where I've come from. And I know how much progress I'm making. Even though it might not seem apparent to other people, I even almost forgot something very cardinal. In this drumming videos and in life in general, you need to have a thick skin. If you stop just because somebody criticizes you or somebody says you sound terrible, you sound shitty, you sound crappy, you're never going to get anywhere in life. You need to have a thick skin. And you also find that hidden inside, or rather embedded inside all these harsh criticisms, you find that there is some element of truth there. They say you sound shitty, you've not improved over the last few months that you've been playing, you sound really terrible. Yes, that may be true, but what can you draw from that? That will tell you that there's something that you need to work on. Rather, you need to make changes to your approach in drumming in order to start to see that improvement. So have a thick skin, don't get discouraged because somebody made some bad comments. It's life. And drumming is supposed to be a safe space, man. It's supposed to be a safe space. Don't bring all that negativity from outside your life into drumming. It's not going to work out. You need to have a thick skin. And keep track of your progress by making recordings of yourself playing and such similar things. Yeah, I was about to say something else, but it just flown out of my mind. Anything else? Maybe we could talk about what right now. It's a win for me. When I started playing drums, I couldn't play any punk rock groups or other songs that I like. And right now, I am able to play some at decent speeds. Not at 200 beats per minute or 300 beats per minute blast speed. No, I'm not able to do that, but I'm able to play some at decent speed. And so that is what I'm not working on. So working on improving my speed around the kids, my overall coordination. It's a lifelong process. Control over my bass drum foot. That is one thing that I'm doing. But it's a long journey, and you need to take wins whenever you see them. Whenever you see yourself doing something that you could not do 6 months later, celebrate it. Because if you don't celebrate it, who do you expect to come and celebrate that for? So that's what I'm up to right now. And yeah, it's a lovely journey. So I have no regrets whatsoever for getting started with this No, I have no regrets whatsoever. And given the choice, I would have even started much earlier. I only wish I had started even at 2 years old or 6 years old, but you just have to make the best of the present. So don't wait for the perfect moment, just dive in. The rest will figure itself out. So, peace fam. Chitema na mtende. Tuonane kutepete konyaki. Which means we'll see each other on the other side. Bye bye. Hey fam. Earlier on I forgot to mention what is the most important thing. The most important thing in your drumming. The most important thing is to have fun. You should have fun when you're on the kit. If you have fun, who cares about the rest? Who cares what the rest of the world think? Who cares if they make nasty comments about you? Even if you're playing the most basic or the basicest of drum beats or drum grooves, but as long as you're having fun doing that, that's all that matters, man. There's nothing else. Parije vinyake, you know? Have fun, plain and simple. If you're not having fun, if it becomes as tedious as, other things that, bog us down in the real world, there you're starting to have a problem. Okay, I understand you say maybe you're looking to become a professional drummer and actually maybe make some few bucks from it, but other than that, nah, just have fun. That's all that matters. Because I like to think of drumming as a safe space. It's one of those gray areas where I don't, like, for once I don't like have to look at color or think about racism and all that nasty stuff. Like, drumming has no color. If you're good, you're good. Even if you're a one day old drummer, you're still a part of that huge family. And drumming is sort of the language that connects all these people that do it. That even makes sense. So you have to have fun. That is the most important thing. Never forget it. Never get too caught up in in all these efforts that you're making to maybe sound great, sound like so and so, to forget what is the most basic and most important thing of all. Have fun while you are drumming. If you're not having fun, and you've missed the way. Because if drumming becomes stressful for you, then you're not in a good way. Don't forget to have fun. Have fun. I repeat, have fun.